Hi. Hydrating. Welcome and welcome again. This is the monthly read as well as the Cards and Channeling meetup as pertains to my Patreon and to my general YouTube community who also benefits from these readings because I release the monthly read every month, the month after I record it, and it will be relevant. Don't worry, because it's timeless information. Okay, so I already found out what decks we'll be using for the concern card, the opportunity obstacle card, and the advantage aversion card. We will be using visions in the liminal space. Excuse my allergies. And for the key card, we will be using Manzel's Tarot 2, Manzel Bowman's Tarot. Yes. And we'll see if the key card gets pulled in before we go over the concern, opportunity, and obstacle card. That one came out quick. You know, I typically think I should get this part done before I'm on camera just because it takes your time, but I realize maybe you want to see how the sausage is made. You know what I mean? The guts of the operation. Okay. Oh, wow. The concern card is very much bold, very much it flipped out the deck, and then as I was moving each card into position, it flipped over. So I know what it is. Typically I learn with you, but now I know what it is. Okay. And the key card wants to come too, which means that spring is coming in hot. It's coming in bold. It's coming in decided. It is making its name heard. Well, I mean, because of course we're moving from Pisces season to Aries season, and I mean Pisces, it's like maybe, God. I saw that card was over there. I guess maybe that's the card, but let's see. You know, I cannot. It's not the card. It's probably just my card. Yes, I'm being affirmed by my pendulum. I was like, it's not the card. No, it's probably just my card. Why's it gotta read me like that? Nobody asked. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I love this medium. Okay, so all the cards are chosen, and we are getting into this. Okay, and then of course for the cards and channeling group community on Patreon, not only will we pull the key card, but then I'll also pull the individual cards for you as you have asked for. So, beginning our concern card, what is the objective thing going on objectively for all of us together subjectively? And the card is that flipped out of the deck and then also flipped over. Sky Daddy. Sky Daddy. Okay. Like some people call it existence, some people call it God, some people call it all that is, some people call it Jehovah, some people call it, you know, or yeah, right? I might be getting that wrong. Let me not get into the nuanced Christianity that I know nothing about. Point is, it's that which you believe is the maker, the creator, and the construct or construction, both and, of existence. And with this card, it's very much about being accepting that you are the primary authority in your life, and that even when you decide that something else is the authority, it's because you're the authority deciding that. It's not because there's some rules written or universal voice that we all hear that we agree has said the same thing. So with this Sky Daddy, it's like even the authority that we believe is not necessarily the authority that anybody else agrees to believe in. So you are choosing that authority because it is not all encompassing, right? It does not have everybody's faith. It does not have everyone's allegiance. It doesn't have everyone's participation. So you are the authority that decides what is true and real and necessary and important in life, and all the other things that you decide. What is the opposite of those things, and what is in between the opposite and the apex, or the, yeah, let's say apex of those things. And with Sky Daddy too, it's also about accepting that it is what it is for you, which has no bearing on what it is for other people. And the best way to know what it is to have conversations about it from a place that's as neutral as possible, right? Well, okay, whatever. Not like necessarily raised in a species or in a time where we are taught about authority outside of sort of a retributive framework. So we're not really taught about like a neutral power. But that's why I teach quantum energetics, and that's why I talk about Taoism, and that's why I continue to advocate for dynamic neutrality, which is coming back to the center no matter where you go, right? Because from the center, you're equidistant from everything else. And the center is, again, your perspective, your authority, your cosign, your beliefs, your faith. And, I had a message earlier today that was like, be more concerned with what faith is for you than what it does for you. And be more concerned with what faith is for you than how it can prove itself to you. Because faith is belief in the absence of proof. So it's beyond trust. It's trust plus knowing is faith. And it also comes from your own authority as well. So with Sky Daddy as a concern card coming into March, literally on March 1st, coming into spring equinox, coming into the full swing of Pisces season, woo woo, my people, my fishes, and coming into Aries season, I just think that it's about, again, too, what you believe. Of course, it's like heavy on the Pisces, but like what you believe that you know, and what you are willing to see through to the truth. Because the other thing is, whatever you decide has the authority, at some point you actually have to allow it to be the authority, which means that it's out of your control, right? That you have to give it to God, that you have to give it over to existence, that you have to, be with what is, that you have to trust. Because either way, you're using trust to distrust or using trust to trust. You might as well use trust to support you. But let's see what the concern, that was the concern. Let's see what the opportunity or obstacle card is. Like, are we using the concern as a roadblock, or are we using the concern as something that can propel us further? We have Esse, Quam, Videri. Esse, Quam, Videri. Okay, I've looked this up before at least a few times. Every time I forget. And I think it's something to know rather than to something. Esse, Quam, Videri. To know instead of to think. Let's see, I'm asking the internet. Oh, to be rather than to seem. Okay. Esse, quam, videre. To be rather than to seem, which is heavy on the calling you out on whether you actually have faith. And I was actually listening to this. I was listening to my subconscious thoughts earlier, and I had this thought, which is, if you believe something to be all powerful, then you have to trust what is, because it being all powerful has determined what is. And even if you don't prefer what is, or even if you experience something that you don't prefer about what is for you personally or for you outside of you, or whether you approve or not, the all powerful thing designated it as a designated you, and to respect that all powerfulness, you would need to respect that as well, right? Like, existence doesn't need your help. Like, it is, get this, what it needs you to help on. Like, it doesn't need your help on what it includes and what it doesn't include. It needs your help on what is for you. And that means choosing what is for you, doing what is for you, and allowing what is for you to be your power, your authority. Allowing what is for you to be your authority. So to be rather than to seem, not to do something and to look around and see if others are approving, or to look around to see if you are witness, or to look around and see if God has written some sign that says, yes, good job, but to have the experience of, and not therefore to have to think about, intellectualize, or theorize about it at all, because you are living it. You're doing the field work and you're not hypothesizing. So to be rather than to seem, Esse, Quam, Videri is right after Sky Daddy. So also we're really getting these heavy on the existential knowledge, heavy on the ontological knowledge, heavy on the philosophical knowledge. And I read some article, and right now we're in a very multidimensional time. So I know I'm always seeing things that are not necessarily of the dimension that I myself am in. But I read an article that was talking about like the humanities having an underwhelming number of enrollees, and that people are no longer studying English and history and philosophy and maybe sociology, although we know sociology try to make that hard, push into hard science, even though it's a social science. But the humanities are, humanities and social sciences are technically different, but like the humanities are having a low enrollment, and they don't know why. And one, it's because, the highly nihilistic, punishing, punitive, and incarceral nature of how we learn about authority, right, and power, that we learn that authority is something you have over others. It's not something you need to have over yourself. And that it's not enough to have it over yourself if others exercise force over you, right? So there's this whole confusion of what power, authority, and force is. And then there's definitely a confusion between what authority and abuse and force is, along with power. So it should surprise no one that the etymology, well, maybe, I'm sorry, I shouldn't presume that for you. Meaning, if you have been with me for a while and you have seen my etymology work, it should not surprise you that power's etymology is power. It's always meant what it is, and that is to be rather than to seem. It's like, there's no motherfucking metaphors for me, bitch. Power is power. I am as I am. I am what I am. I am that I am. I am. Okay? And that's intrinsic philosophy. That's existential philosophy. So to be rather than to seem is also knowing, and I love this encouragement. It's the trusting that you can learn from the physical reality as much as you can learn from the intellectual reality, and as much as you can learn from the emotional reality. Existence is like heavy on the lecturing me right now with this. I'm talking to me, but also that experiential knowledge is as valuable as hypothetical knowledge, is as valuable as sensory knowledge, and that you can learn from the doing of, and you don't need to know what is going on before you need to know, and you won't know it after you need to know it. You'll know it exactly when things are in alignment for you to know that in alignment with everything else, right? Because you're not the authority of without, you're the authority from within. So all you can do is conduct yourself, and conduct yourself as well and as possibly as possible. And then we finish for the monthly read with the advantage aversion card, right? What about our character, ourselves? What about our character is helping or hindering the circumstances of our situation? I mean, it was warming my hands, so there's no qualms about me having hold this, but What about our characters helping or hindering the situation? And we have boop, boop, boop. Water has memory. Right. Oh God, what a filthy read in Pisces season. It's like you the one crystallizing what the reality is by what you remember about the way you're relating to people. And that doesn't mean that you haven't had bad experiences with other people and that you haven't had, inconsequential experiences with other people and that you haven't had positive experiences with other people. It's that when you have those experiences, all those experiences with someone, that how you remember them is contingent upon what you believe about the totality of their character, right? And it's interesting because we think about characters so linearly. We think, okay, when someone does something, it's a linear event from which all other things take place. And particularly when somebody kills something or when somebody births something, we have particular attention to those things, right? So we, after death, before Christ, that's from the death of a person, linear time. But also, let's say we're in a relationship with someone for a long time, and at some point there is a betrayal from them. And then that event, from that event, will define their character as opposed to the many good memories that you also had in addition to that experience. That experience can definitely be, let's say, an irreversible discontinuity, meaning once it happens, you cannot deny the fact that it happened. But at the same time, you can not deny something has happened and also not allow it to be the end all be all of how you remember something. I'm just going to kind of leave that alone because I have to ponder that myself. I'm a Pisces. My birthday is Sunday, and this reading is much a read for me as it is for the month because it is my month. So thanks for being there for that. That was, I don't know how long that was, but it was the time that it took. And let me just make sure I've done everything I needed to do. Have I left anything undone? I have not. Okay, so thank you for being here for the monthly read. And for those of you who remain, we are going to be doing the key card from, again, Menzel Bowman's tarot. And we're also going to be doing the individual pulls for those who asked, okay? Which also means that I should probably check my email.